Oh my goodness. It is morning, my dears. Oh, this is loud right now. Oh, my play controls not working. Okay. There we go. I just realized I'm gonna make everything from scratch. So, or almost everything from scratch. Tasty. I'm drinking my coffee. I need to go to the store because I'm running out of creamer. Let's go in Discord and let's just people. Sorry, I'm trying to respond to people in tickets. Hi, people. 'Cause I realized I should probably still give some level of support for Kari, because I still care about Akari users, so keep that in mind. Join call. Sure thing.
Hello.
Hello. There we go. Just lowering the noise of some stuff. Trying to keep my mic by my face. Interesting that OBS now has this noise suppression thing that you can use.
Yeah, that is quite base.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of utils.
Oh yeah, I copied and pasted the Atlas ones. If I don't need them, I'll delete them. But I mean, see, like it's very nice because it'll use my Funky Monkey website to make paste bins.
Monk.
I should probably log this though to ensure there's not abuse. Because I think Pastebin will get mad at me if people are abusing it. They haven't blocked me yet though. Alright. I should probably also open YouTube chat. I'm doing my driver improvement course at the same time. Should I do it? Yeah. There we go. Now we're gonna need some way to make this per player. So I guess we'll make this.
You gonna call it Enterprise Anti-Cheat?
No, it's just the name of it for now. I haven't come up with a name. I
'Cause
still will
that
be.
abbreviation is taken.
Oh, I know. Oh, by who?
EAC, Easy Anti-Cheat.
Oh, that's. Yeah, no, but that's not what I'm actually calling it. Actually, that's what I called it in Kari. Should I just keep that? Yeah, we'll just call it. I guess player or anti-cheat player. We'll call it actually a player. There we go. This is the way I always do players.
Why are you doing it like this?
Caching and ensuring it gets the right object. So I can store the
Yeah,
it just
but
gives me flexibility.
constructor.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do it in the constructor, but I'd actually have to require an online player for this object to be created then.
I'm sorry, are you going to be running the anti-cheat on offline players?
Well, for example, if I want to go ahead and run login checks, there's not going to be a player object. Actually, that's probably should be an optional if I'm ever going to return anything that might be null. You know, following proper Java conventions. Now, let's figure out a plan on how we're gonna make this performance. So, I'm guessing nothing I can do for packets is, I guess I could do what I did in Kari. Because how I did it in Kari was, I used reflection. But the reflection was actually an ASM library, so it was practically native. And I think I might want to do that again, so we'll see. I guess we'll just call it packet, so we'll make an annotation packet. And then we'll go ahead and store that. So I'm probably gonna just because I'm off my meds and I'm no braining right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and look at what I did in the past for reference. Got it. Okay. So we have check. I guess we'll have a separate check manager, should we? No, I don't think that's necessary. Maybe? Maybe for cleanliness. So hold on, we're gonna have static checks. So the checks should have methods. So it's gonna cache the method. I'm assuming in Kari, let me pull this up. I'm trying to figure out the way I did it. Yeah, I used esoteric reflector ACM. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the reflect ASM library and put it in this one. Now, is Lombok up to date? Yeah, it's up to date. You don't need to update Lombok hydrogen.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna probably, I guess we're not gonna have the check manager in here. It's gonna be a play data thing, so we'll call it data. Handlers. We'll call it a check handler. Now, we're gonna have static. Maybe I don't want that here. Okay, so I guess I should probably do this the proper way. Do I have only office? Okay. So things I want for this check system. Alright, so check system. I want it to be performance, native, or very close to it. I want it to be. I don't really know how you spell performant. Interesting. I want it to be per player. I want it to have annotation based events like Kari. So that means, no memory leaks. Very important because that's easy to do with a per player system. And I want it to not, actually, no memory leaks on player logout or reloading. Okay, so what does that mean? So that means we need to go ahead and things to do. So the design should probably be. I wish I had my Wacom tablet on me. That'd be very nice. So let's see. We would want it to have a check manager. I need to open up. That, okay. So a check manager, a central place to manage detections. So what does that require? So we need to store the classes of checks themselves, and then we need to go ahead and have it able to initiate and in the storage store the actual methods required to all packets. So let's see, in Kari, If I wanted to take the packet, that's fine. Alright, handle it. I add the checks, but add checks is actually ran every time a player joins. So ideally we don't want to do that. We don't want to have to, we only want to have to scan the methods once. So what I should probably do is I should probably have it do only once. So I want to store it with the classes. So yeah, we want to store it with the classes. So to do that, we should probably create a separate object to use for storing the check classes. So let's check static. In here, we're gonna have the stems check class. We're actually gonna make this wraps class, and then we're gonna call this. And we're gonna list method function packets. Yes. Now let's see in here. Because this is the thing, is that this kind of thing, initializing check, can be a major performance hog for server, like practice servers, where they have lots of players joining and leaving, which can add up if they're large enough. Granted, I don't think there's a practice server of the size of Myron Club that would use an Anticheat other than their own, but, you know, server is similar to that workload. We want to think of everything. So, and this is the point of engineering, and I see not many people watching the stream, because the beautiful thing about engineering is that it is long and boring when you do it right. So it'll be fun for anyone to watch if they want to later on in a VOD. Okay, so in here, you want to, on the add checks, it goes ahead and it scans, so it gets the check classes, and then it grabs that, puts the checks in there. Now, right, it grabs the methods, and then it stores it in here, but we don't want to do it that way. Yeah, and then it'll invoke by object, so this way we can go ahead and do it like this, where we just have the methods in here. So we'll say packets, and then events. And that way it'll store that way. And then here we will go ahead and create a constructor extends check. And I will go ahead and we could just make it even more dead simple, honestly. Let's make it even more brain dead. Actually, no, that's just unnecessary computing. Alright, let's not make it so brain dead. We'll actually have a separate. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just make it one interface annotation to just say for whatever, and then it'll check unload if it's a packet or if it's an event by doing an instance of check. But that sounds like a lot of unnecessary work for the computer to do every single time for really a very simple minimal time savings of coding. So we'll have a separate one. So in that way, we'll go ahead and say check class here. And then we should probably make these final. Make these anew. We should probably make it a non-modifiable list. So we'll have this. Nah, it doesn't really matter. So See, I realized another way that I stored packets here in the wrap check is, or at least, where did I have it here? So if I run packet, I'm going through all the methods, and then I'm checking if it's packet, which is probably not the best way to do it. So, and then I check if it actually is an instance of the current packet, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's see. Where do I, okay, wrap check. What? And then I check, what else? I check if it's not a, oh yeah, if it doesn't return, if it is Boolean, this is essentially Car's way of saying, does it actually cancel an event? And then it checks if it's a packet, which is already predetermined. So what creates the wrap check again? I haven't written this code in a long time, so I need to keep this in mind. Check classes.
At this rate, just copy paste the Carly base.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to do it the way to make it faster. Like, so I'm not doing anything unnecessary. Because this is something I need to think about instead of just writing and then going along with it and then fixing issues along the way. If I think about it, I won't have issues. What is the pastebin util and why does it translate X to do whatever that is? So the pastebin util, so the reason I do it this way through my website is no one can get my pastebin API key, which I used to do it that way, and thankfully no one actually used it. But this way it's hidden behind my website.
I've thought about using it.
What, you thought about using it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I realized that was a bit of a bad idea. So I realistically, pastebin's cheap. It's $20 lifetime. It's very nice of them. But I mean, granted, it costs them essentially nothing to host paste. But I'm getting off track. The translate X to do whatever. I don't know what you mean. So here it'll go ahead and so if I want to make a paste, I get the body, name, and the privacy. So the encoder encodes the actual string to go ahead and make it URL compliant. So it actually uses, so for example, if it's going to be a space, it's going to be like $20D or whatever the heck it is. It's probably not what it is, but that way the server side can read it without it getting confused because it has a certain syntax that it requires for consistent reading and sending. Anyways, I just kind of bad explanation, but it makes it easy for the computer to not fuck up your query. And then essentially it encodes all of that, so it has the content of the paste. So that's what pastebin, like where you run and write all your things. The title is the title that pastebin will display. And then the data is the general things where it'll actually take it all and it'll go ahead and put it in the format that pastebin requires. And then this will send it to this method, which will go ahead and make a new HTTP URL connection and set it as post, so that way it'll go ahead and follow pastebin's requirements. A post request is different than a GET request. Honestly, I don't know what the difference is. I should probably look into it. All I know is that...
Post request allows you to post data.
Yeah. And then a GET request is just... See, I don't know. See, that's because you can post data on GET too.
No, you need to use query parameters for that.
Really? That's actually... Yeah. I never really thought of it that way. You're right. I always have to do posts when I'm importing forms. Actually, yes. No, I don't. I've been able to use GET. I don't think I've ever... I mean, I might have just always done it as post because that's what I was told to do, but I never actually tried to do it on GET.
When you set it to GET, it will use a query parameter.
Expand pastebin request for fun. Yeah, but it also allows me to rate limit the amount of paste that I'm sending to pastebin so they don't get mad at me. Doing it through my own website. But I set the request velocity as the encoded form. I mean, this is just standard HTTP stuff to make sure that, you set the content length so that way it's not so confused as you send it in there, because it's like, whoa, what the heck is this giant query? But this is sending it all as data instead of a URL parameter, which actually makes me wonder why I did it this way, now that I think about it. I think it's just the way that Pastebin wants it. They want it to be data, but a URL parameter for some reason. Because now that I look at this, this is kind of confusing and abnormal. Maybe this is the way that data is formatted with Java. I am not sure, but because you're right, that does seem a little weird. But flushes it all, and then this is reading the response as basically just string. It formats it all into a UTF-8 string, and then it reads it by line, because that's what a buffered reader will go ahead and make each line an individual buffer, and so it'll read through it. And a buffer is essentially just a huge collection of... So instead of me, let's say, reading this entire method all at once, this is all in one string, making the request really big. I just go bit by bit. So this is one part of the buffer, one part of the buffer. So think of it as a list spread out. And because it doesn't necessarily have to be line by line, you're just spreading things out, so it's not too much for something to handle. Post additional data, get contain all required data. Thank you. Yeah, I actually didn't know. So I just do it because that's what conventions are. And this is probably why I should take some computer science classes outside of, since I'm not going to college anymore, I should probably take a few courses online on like Brilliant or something.
Brilliant.org. This video is brought to you by Brilliant.
Yeah, because it would be good to know why things are the way they are. I mean, I could probably just do it by reading documentation on like standards, because I'm sure it'll tell me there too. I mean, where do you think we get the course content from? Anyways, back to what I was doing. Yeah, I take all the methods here, and I'm trying to figure out where I check if it's the right packet or not. Because I check if it's a packet, and then is compatible. Oh, I check if it's compatible with the version. That's right. No player. And then I just invoke it. Interesting. Oh no! Okay, so I do actually get it. So I do get it by check methods. Okay, so it is stored here. It's just not stored in the wrap check. That makes more sense now. Okay. But maybe I can do it in a much more clean way. Maybe I can go ahead and actually do it in this class here. So I'll make this a map instead. So I'll say map class list method function. In fact, I might as well just make this an array. It doesn't need to be a list, because I'm just looping through it. And then we'll call this packets and events. And we'll make this just a regular hash map. And I can just make it synchronized if I necessarily need to. And then I will go ahead and set this check class to be wrapped. So it wraps it in my reflection util. Now I need to double check the time because I'll need to start logging into work soon. Okay, and then alright, and then we'll go ahead, let me open up my YouTube chat again. Alright. Now we're going to want to go ahead and check for packets. So I'm going to want to go ahead and we should probably rename this to make this a bit easier. Actually, screw it. We're going to do it this way. Process class. And then we'll go ahead and set a check class that get methods. And then we'll probably do it by a predicate. So we'll say if it's, since we don't necessarily need to make this the most performant in the world, because this is only being run once instead of every single time a player joins, we can make the code a bit easier to read. So we can say method dot. Now I should probably add more things to my wrap method. So we'll say Boolean is annotation present. No, I need to go ahead and see what class the what the parameter is for this. It's just classic indentation. Annotation. This is a cover. Yeah, I love you, Godsmack, but that's not right. Okay. Where was I? Right, I'm adding more to this. And then I guess that's all we'll have for now. If we need more, we'll keep on adding to it. But we'll say is annotation present, and then we'll say back-to-back class. And this will only return me methods with that annotation present. And then what we can do is now I don't want to necessarily use this though. Actually, I think this ends up just creating a method lambda anyway. So you want to know something? It's essentially the same thing. It's all ASM. So I don't need you. Goodbye. I don't know why I used you in the first place. I'm an idiot. Because I already did the hard work of using the lambda meta factory that Java so gracefully provides, making it really, really slow to initiate, but really fast to run. Because it's generating classes to go ahead and actually access a public method. So that way I can go ahead and just use that, and then we'll make this actually a wrapped method. Because it'll invoke, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, methfunc.invoke. In the way I want. And then we'll say, crap. We're gonna want to make sure it has a parameter, so we're gonna also do a check. God, if I'm already doing checks to make sure it's of a specific type, I might as well just keep it as one one annotation, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we'll just, I don't know, instead of calling it event, we'll call it, because it might not just be an event. It could also be, well, actually, I guess it's all technically an event. We'll make it event. So then, we'll go ahead and, we don't need to do that, so we'll just say, if, oh, I guess we'll add more to our wrap method. So we'll say, we want to add some parameter methods, so I need to really quickly see what kinds we get. So get parameters, so we'll say, what does get parameters give us? Parameter array, so get parameters. Now, can I check to see? Yeah, I can. Get parameter types. And then, what else can we add? Good check. I guess that's all we'll need for now. So, what we're going to want to do here is and check if parameters are greater than 0. And honestly, we only really need one map if we're just making a class. Well, I don't know why I was doing that separately. There's no point in doing that. It would all be in the same place. So, that was also a dumb design of me. Unnecessary hash map. Okay, so then we want to check if, so we're going to want to get the type. method dot get parameters 0. Oh, get parameter types 0. If type is instance. Oh, well, hold on. Let me read the comment on this. Determine the specified object is assignment compatible with the object represented by this class. So determine that the specified object is assignment compatible with the. Okay. So I could only use an object with that. So I think what we would want to use is assignable from. That's represented by this class object is the same as a fifth class. Yeah. So we're going to say is assignable of. Assignable from. So right now we're going to be using vanilla packets because I'll do the wrappers when I actually finish my checks. Because I feel like I was doing it ass backwards. Because I'm doing the wrappers before I actually do the checks, which is stupid. So we'll call isAssignable packet.class. And then, oh, I forgot that. There. And then we'll put or type that is assignable from event. Oh, I made a duplicate pass name and that makes it annoying, so we are going to rename it. We'll call this runner. Yeah, something like that. Maybe action. There we go. We'll call it action. All right. So this will make event dot class, and then actually we might as well add this here. Maybe not. I just realized this is kind of dumb. I might as well just. This is extraneous. Even if it's. I know that's an error right now, but I'm going to be changing this. We'll just make this a frickin' forward, and they're going to be declared methods, so. Now, I need to double check to see the parent that declared methods. Okay, so it's just an array. So I'll make this. We're at the method. Declared methods. In fact, actually, let's just be even smarter. And if we're gonna go ahead and grab declared methods, we might as well just frickin' honestly do it on initiation. Actually, we're doing too much. We're doing too much for very little benefit. Do array. Okay. There we go. Now, what does it want? Oh, odd. All right, let's go ahead and change that. New wrap method, this, and okay. Make that into an array, and then leave that as is. Let's get declared methods. Got a method. And we'll say if that is an assignable packet.class or event.class. We'll add it to the events. So we'll say put type, and then we'll make this graph method available. Oh. That's a bit of a problem of using an array. Okay. So, that does make things a bit difficult. Because array, I cannot change the length of. Huh. But it would be much more performant if I used it. Other questions? What does method function do? Oh, I spilled my coffee. Be right back. Okay. A method function, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, in the util that I used, I believe it's just a cache of the actual, here. Essentially what I'm doing with this method function is I'm actually, or method access, wait, method function. Oh, you mean in my util? Hold on, so, method function here is just a instance of the method and the function itself. So the method function actually, what it does is it goes ahead and it, okay. Let me stop and think for a second. My method function that I created here, these are all what's called a functional interface. And because I can't make a dynamic functional interface with different varying amounts of arguments, as far as I'm aware, because you'd have to have different classes, essentially, I had to make different args like this. I probably could, but I just didn't know the way when I made this. Make it dynamic with the amount of parameters you can have. I made this work with a method of up to 4 parameters. And essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm actually creating a very fast way to call a accessible method. This will not work with private methods. However, what this does is it uses the Lambda meta factory that Java provides. And it generates a class to go ahead and access methods you wouldn't otherwise be able to access. Without reflection, at least. Reflection is an uncached JVM call because it's dynamic in sense, and it has to go ahead and look through the JVM stack. However, a generated class, aka a lambda, and a lambda is just a Java shortcut of a generated class, essentially. So if I want to go ahead and make, run a method, or run a task, and I say task system.out, print this is a task. This is actually not on compile. Essentially, this lambda. Now this isn't reachable because I throw a new, but essentially, what this lambda is actually just new, runnable, void run that. And if I want to make this a lambda, all I have to do is that. And the JVM will use ASM, which is a bytecode modifying util that Oracle implemented into Java. It'll go ahead and create this in bytecode form in the JVM. They're functionally the same, but it only will create it after running. So the caveat is a lambda, if it is not cached, is actually heavier than just running the class itself. So you want to be careful with how you use lambdas. However, a reflection will always be uncached. So therefore, if you use this lambda, it is generating a class to access a private method. So for example, if I have this private method that says hi, system.out.print.high. I cannot access this method, at least, you know, without, I mean, like, if I, through reflection at least. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that if I'm going through reflection and I want to access this method, I'd have to go ahead and say, because I don't have direct access to the class, I would have to go ahead and do reflections class, and then I'd have to get the method, and then get it by name, and then invoke it. And all of this is uncached because I'm not creating direct calls to the actual method. However, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a function to go ahead and say, this is my method. So I go ahead and pass my parameters here, and this is the result of the method. And it's sort of a proxy, a very convoluted way for the JVM to cache a reflection call, if that makes sense. So it runs way faster. So yeah, so you can't you just do function type in the definition? Not necessarily, because of the way it works. And my brain is not alive enough to go ahead and go deep down, because it is a very advanced Java function. Like, it took me a whole couple of days to learn how to use this meta factory and understand it. Like, and I haven't touched it in a while, so quite frankly, I cannot answer a lot of these questions, because I don't remember. It was a lot of documentation reading, and I don't remember a lot of it. All I know is, Java make things run faster if I do this way, okay? So, that's all I really care to remember. And just to be clear, it is only faster if you are not constantly creating a new access point. You have to create it once and then use it forever, or it's actually slower than just using regular reflection. Because class generation is a lot slower than just using reflection. Because reflection is just actually digging through the stack to find things manually, whereas Lambda is actually using a ASM util to go ahead and generate bytecode on the fly, which is very different. Think of it as looking through a hash map to find a class versus completely generating the class. Like, that's the difference between reflection and ASM lambdas. If you have that knowledge of Java. Anyways, aside from my explanations, let's get back to this. So I want to go ahead. This is why I usually don't stream when I work. I tend to usually, or at least when I'm working on stuff, because I tend to be a lot slower. Now, events.put type. That's a parameter, and then I want the method itself. No. Alright, so this is an array. Back to my original problem. I guess what I can do, since it's only modifiable, I should always do it through an array. I'm never gonna add or remove these. So I should probably do it like this, where I actually have a separate map here. It is convoluted, but it is a very simple way to shave a little bit of overhead, teeny tiny little bit of overhead of looping through this to find stuff, or to run code. So we'll just do the list here. Because a list is a lot more complicated than an array. An array is a native memory mapped object, whereas a list is, well, okay, this is more, this is an interface, but like an array list, for example, is a actively modifiable array, so essentially it has to go ahead and use a lookup table to find everything, whereas an array, in a completely different fashion, whereas an array is very simple, very easy for a computer to process in a much quicker sense, when you are just, because all you really do is iterate with it, and you use an array to find it in a lookup, and in a really easy, very simple index. So, whereas an array list can be indexed by multiple things, and like, for example, the location of where it's at, and it could be. It's not that much more complicated, but the whole point is that it is a modifiable. It is not a fixed size, and therefore the index has to be a little bit more complicated to account for that. Yes. Yes, that's correct, Jason Official. Lambda metafactor is used for indirect access, which dynamically invokes something. That is correct. Yeah, it dynamically invokes, but essentially what that means is it generates, when you use the Lambda metafactory, yeah, it creates an accessor, and you use that accessor to find it. I know, I should probably look into an array list that actually works, but fundamentally, an array list's index is slightly more complicated than a regular array. But if actually, I can do that by just reading this. A resizable array implementation of the list interface. Implements optional list operations from all elements, including null. In addition to implementing the list interface, the class provides methods to manipulate the size of the array that are used to internally store the list. So this class is roughly equivalent to vector, except that it is unsynchronized. So essentially, this is also another factor, is that if I use an array, it is going to be the same, especially if I don't modify it. So if I'm iterating through it, it doesn't really matter if I'm doing things synchronously or not, because the array being modified at any point is not going to actually affect its iteration. It'll go ahead and there's no concurrent modification error check, so it's technically, you can still screw things up a lot more, but it's just, it's lighter in the sense that it's not checking for concurrency issues when there aren't going to be any. I don't know how to disable emoji translations. Yeah, it's fine. I totally get it. I don't assume. I know what you meant. But, like, yeah, so for example, every time I go ahead, which the iterator, because a for loop is just a fancy way for Java to run an iterator, essentially. But see here, it checks for concurrent modification, it checks the size, it's just all extra stuff that has to be run. Whereas in an array, all it does is go, next one, next one, next one, next one. And it's a fixed set size. So essentially, what this means is it's much lower level, and it is, granted, computers are very fast at processing this stuff, but I want to be super hipster-like and make sure it is super fast, because I am that much of a hipster. This is hipster-level optimization in a language that is not very optimized, so I totally get that, but... Or at least, not the most optimized it can be, because if you really were hipster, you code everything in C. Anyways. Someday Anticheat has a DLL. Some anti-cheats already do that. I know, for example, Sparky, but granted, anti-cheats that go to low-level Java generally do it for DRM purposes, and that's what Sparky does. Like, its DRM is fairly sophisticated, and even if you do crack like an anti-cheat like Sparky itself, the anti-cheat functions mostly, at least the certain features of it, like, there is no database that you can use with it on your own. It uses the Sparky cloud. So, like, essentially, if you just cracked it and you didn't have a license, like, you wouldn't be able to actually store any logs, which is kind of an essential feature of an anti-cheat when it comes to one that you want to ban players, because it is really nice to be able to go ahead and store logs. Granted, It is not that complicated of a logging process, and I would not be surprised if a competent reverse engineer just completely reverse engineered the way that the logs are processed, and then made it available for free to use to set up for servers. That is something that is possible, but again, it's just the total level of effort required for some that a lot of developers will not put towards that are competent to. Keep in mind, there are a lot of developers, but a small subset of those are actually reverse engineers, and a small subset of reverse engineers actually care about wanting to use it, and then an even smaller subset will actually put the time towards doing it. And that's kind of core the core reasoning behind the. I think it's something the way Valve put it, Gabe Newell, where he's like, piracy is just is not really a problem of accessibility, but rather convenience, and that if it is more convenient to go ahead and use a pirated piece of software, then the people are going to use pirated software. And convenience can be construed as, price. For example, if it's less convenient for me to have to work more to buy a bit of software, then to go ahead and buy the software, then I'm gonna go ahead and pirate it. It's the same thing. So you want to offer a better service than pirates, and if it takes that much effort to pirate the software, people are just gonna buy it. And especially since Sparky's not expensive. So it's really a balancing act. I should probably use a compute for this. Actually, we'll just do a compute. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Alright, there we go. That's added to the 10th list, and then after that's done processing, we just do it like this. I mean, I could make an unmodifiable list. You know what I just realized? Well, if I'm making an unmodifiable list, it's just a fancy array. So, whatever. I'm being dumb. I mean, functionally, at least from my perspective, it's the same thing. So I might as well just keep it like this. And that's why they call me Optic Fusion writes pretty similar code to you. Hey, I don't know. Is that a compliment?
Optic Fusion is a company.
Oh, it's a company.
I don't know what they do.
Apparently, they're an IT company. Oh, they host stuff. It's a compliment. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I try to go ahead and Kari. The thing is that the key to writing code is I try not to get lazy, and then I eventually get lazy, and I'm trying to prevent that from in this project. So I'm trying to make sure everything actually works properly. So I know it's updated but never queried, but that way this go ahead and static class is now done. It stores all the events. So now we can go ahead and have that there. So now we have the check type. We can probably just honestly keep this as an all arts constructor. No. I'm trying to think. It might actually be better to do this differently. So I think it'd be better to make this an abstract. And then what I do here is I actually make the check name return an abstract method. So get name, abstract. That way I can go ahead and just make an instance of this class using the A player class. And then that way, when I make a new instance, I can go ahead and do that. Yeah. Now, the main thing is, I'm gonna have to go ahead and register the classes here. So we're gonna go ahead and make a check manager. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make my life a little bit easier, and on the init, we're gonna go ahead. So on this initialize scanner, we're gonna go ahead and actually check if the class. So actually, first we should probably render check manager. So we'll have our list of classes extending check. So check classes, and I'm trying to think if there's any benefit to caching it by name or anything. And I don't think so. So that's probably something we want to keep in mind. Yeah, that should be fine. So we'll make getters here, and then we'll just say public void add check class. We'll extend that as check so the JVM gets hints for that, so that way it can't add anything else. A class. This is just to make code a little bit cleaner when I run this here. So we'll see this. So we'll say if now this is where we can go ahead and add more to wrapped class. So reflections. Cool. Wrapped class will say public boolean is assignable of another wrapped class, and then we'll also make the return wrapped is assignable. Oh wait, is assignable from parent, and then we'll also just add another one for a regular class. Return wrap or get parent is assignable from param class. Is it mad if I do this? I also know that this is here. Google cache. So that means I will probably have to go ahead and add my own Google API library, which I seem to have not done in Kari. So did I just use the Atlas one? Oh yeah, I guess I did in Atlas. So hold on, we're gonna really quickly copy the Maven class that I used. Now what time is it? It is almost 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna probably have to head off my stream and start working. We may do an extra hour depending whether or not I have a lot to do this morning. So we'll see. I do have to get on Teams though on my phone so I can make sure I'm not needed. Okay, so Google. There we go, Jason. I think that's the library. Because it might be Commons. It might be Guava actually that it's in. I'm not sure. We'll find out. No. Let's see. Where do I know somewhere I shaded. Yeah, okay. It's in Guava most likely. Alright. How long have you been coding? Long time, man. I've been coding since I was technically 11, but realistically I started actually getting good when I was like 13 or 14. So that would say that would make it about 9 years. It gets me. Oh yeah. Optifusion 1. It's the dev of MC Antivirus. Oh yes, I heard of him. That's where I've seen him before. I was wondering why I recognized him. I think he's actually a mod at Spigot, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me check this out real quick. Oh yeah, checking for a backdoor. Does he check? Yeah, he uses ASM for it. That's smart. I'll definitely contribute to it if I find anything, you know, not missing from there. But I think he's got a lot covered based on what I'm seeing here. How long it? Oh yeah. Alright. So let me go ahead and shade. See, the beautiful thing about Maven is I've been using it for like 5 years now, and I still don't know what the heck the syntax is. So that's just a developer note to the Maven developers that their syntax sucks. Should probably minimize jar. Especially since, I mean, granted, it might not be their fault. It's just not something you regularly do. Like, once you set up your project, you're pretty much done dealing with it. So all you have to do is Google it from time to time. But still. Are you writing something down for me? What you writing down? Get you labels? No, I haven't seen the labels. Do you want me to just ask my mom for a label maker? Alright, I'll go ahead and look for them later. And that would be Caretaker. Just kidding. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Alright, you found him? Good. Yeah. Alright. I have Guava in here, right? Perfect. Okay. So that means... Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, no, you don't get into that. Alright. I should probably check to see. If that's actually... Oh, I should probably refresh that. And then... But the backdoor plugin hid itself in the legit plugins. Yeah. And if you get backdoored in MC, you kind of deserve it. Yeah, usually that comes from cracked plugins. I definitely have not been guilty of posting plugins on websites like Black Spigot that may or may not delete all your server files, and I may not be the reason that that rule exists on Black Spigot. Just saying. Thing is that when you're running a plugin in Java, remember that Java usually runs in with privileged permissions all the time. So you should be very careful what Java programs you run. And my advice is to either only download closed sourced plugins from developers you really trust, or look through any plugins and make sure their source code is readable and there's nothing bad in it. But this MC anti-malware thing is also a very good idea and probably will help you run cracked plugins more. So, oh my god, I see why now. Yeah, that's why I generified it. Yeah, that makes sense. It's for that reason. Okay, we'll ignore the warnings. Alright. So now that I have that check manager, check static, we're going to want to go ahead and add the check classes. And so in this add thing, we're actually going to want to make it check static, I just realized. We'll make this a list of check static. And then, I believe the way to make the new one is to, yeah. Oh, and then we're going to want to run this process class method. So we'll say new. There we go. And then on player join, we're going to have a, we'll go ahead and have a player registry. And we'll just make this static. So, well, actually we won't make it static. We want everything to be removed on plug and shutdown. I learned in Java that you shouldn't always trust the JVM to remove everything, because for the JVM will pretty much not garbage collect anything that has any reference to anything else. So using static in Java is generally not advised, and the best way for you to tell if your statics are causing issues is to unload your plugin and then run a memory dump, and then see what's stuck, and then fix it. If you want your plugin to be able to reload properly, that at least. I see more people are joining the stream, so that's good. Alright. So we'll call this map. Map UID a player. A player map. Haha, get it? It's a player map. Alright, I'm sorry. Now, we're gonna probably have to... if there's enough players on one server, it's gonna warrant using a concurrent hash map, I would say. No. Like, if there's enough players joining and leaving, because having to synchronize it can be a major problem. Depending... yeah, but is it gonna be that common now? Alright, we'll just keep it as a regular hash map and then synchronize it. So we're gonna have to make this final. No, but then I'd have to synchronize whenever you want, right? Probably not. Okay, we'll make it a concurrent, just to avoid any possible issues. Alright, because Java does all the magic stuff for you. Okay. Oh. Public void generate. Alright, that needs to be final for it to matter. Okay. Speaking of distributing infected plugins since 2012. People just need to learn how to read code with so many issues, but that's a lot for people to learn. Unload. We'll probably have an unload. And then load method. Make my own instructor on it. And then make that protected. Add player amount that remove UID. Alright, there we go. I wonder if that'll actually return as null. Hold on. Yeah, I should probably check if it's null. We could do it like this. There we go. Alright, and then, will this return the object? Yeah, well. Okay. And then we'll say if player map that contains key UID return a player map that get UID because it shouldn't generate anything. You don't want that to be updated, that could cause memory leaks. Alright. And then alright, I think that's good. So in our join listener, we should probably first we should probably run this here. So we should say get player. Maybe not, because if we're running that there, it actually defeats the purpose. So here we'll go ahead and say, and we need to register that in the main class here. Hold on, we have an error. Oh, right. C is assignable from check that class. And then we should probably put our check manager and then player registry. And then this check manager equals new check manager. This dot player registry equals new player registry. Then our player registry should probably do public, so register all. Can I iterate it? Oh, I can't. I gotta do it like this. About to unload. Okay, there we go. And then on unload we do check manager equals check manager, or check manager equals null, and then player registry dot unregister all player registry equals null. There we go. Just to get rid of instances that can cause problems. Do I unregister all packet players? No, I don't. I should probably do that. So we'll say handler abstract, handler remove. There we go. And that way, that removes registering packet listeners for players. That way, class is actually removed. There we go. Okay. There we go. Siren. Hi, Siren. Been a while. Okay. Now join listener. We go. Anticheat instance. Dot get. Play registry. Generate. Play. Okay. There we go. Now we can go ahead and do impl.
Pimple?
Yeah, IMPL.
Pimple?
Implement.
Pimple?
Pimple. Now, we should make something to run events, I should say. So when we have the static classes and we register the classes, right? Signable check manager dot add check C. Yeah, see that get turned in, and then hope it works. Okay. Then that should add the class. A log verbose. Alrighty. I just realized we could do it like that. And then that will be happy. There we go. There we go. And then that'll add that. Okay. So then let's make a just general join check, for example. Just a test check. So and our listener, we're gonna also want to go ahead and run the event itself. So and the check static, we're gonna loop through it. Now I think it's also I just realized another point of optimization could be, so for example in the check manager, we're gonna have the check static classes themselves, but in the actual yeah, I just realized it might be oh no, actually that makes it easy. So what we could do here is when we're registering the checks, we could go.
Irem Kari went open source. That's what happened to Kari.
Why is there only a VPN? It's actually an anti-VPN. I know, confusing name. The list, people, actually, that's wrong. And then we'll make a handlers, and then we'll say player checks.
Yes, Kari went open source.
Can you get a new music taste? No. You're gonna enjoy my music. Okay, so then get check manager. More people outside the US enjoy rocks too. Okay, man? Rock, not rocks. Okay. And then here we'll just happily store. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. We'll just make this the frickin' list, because this is not actually where it's gonna frickin' process. So this was pointless. Okay. Here is where we'll actually have that dumb optimization stuff. So we'll say cached methods. Okay. So here we have all the methods here, and then we go back. Actually, let's make my life slightly easier. Just copy and paste that here. We'll say slightly verbose, but I promise it's for a reason. No, we got people joining. Hello.
I flight code.
I got attacked last night.
You got attacked
What?
last night?
DDoS.
Who did?
Me.
Why did you get DDoSed?
No idea.
I'm streaming, by the way, so be warned.
Oh.
No.
Did you just wake up?
Yeah.
Damn, woke up at 2 p.m. Legend.
You wanna know how I patched it?
How'd you patch it?
I
You don't
took
wanna
the
say
root
that shit?
domain. Well, the fucking Cloudflare records. It was a shit attack. It was fucking great.
Interesting. Okay. Do you still work with QCraft? No, I don't. Okay. Check class. What? Oh. There we go. Am I ever gonna do this? Whatever. And we'll do it for future reference if I'm doing something different. I just realized it might be a good idea to keep it that way for flexibility purposes, especially since this is only being run once. Right? No, this isn't being run once. What the heck am I doing? Oh shit. We're gonna want this done in here. So in here, what we'll do it like this. I am slightly dumb. I should probably do it in here to keep it cached. So, alright. So the reason I'm doing it like this instead is because I want to go ahead and have this consistent and run once. However, I realize that I need to have it in a format ready for a player to be processed for it to actually only be done once. So when I add the check, what's actually going to have to happen here is I specifically need to go ahead and cache everything in a format ready to process here. So we'll say And then the check static class. Oh. There we go. And then we'll have that add at the end. But in here, it needs to all be methods. So. And you'll see what I'm doing in a sec. Yeah, you're very funny, Hydrogen. That's not what I got removed for. It's called AcuteCraft had a bunch of layoffs, and they dissolved the Anticheat team.
Yeah, you can call it what you want. But...
Oh my god. Okay, right. What was I doing? Oh, I was in here. Okay. So this is where I want to do it. So essentially what I'm going to have to do here is events. So of course I need to synchronize this. Events. And then I need to go ahead and I should probably do this last. And then I say events.compute check class. No. Oh, see, this is exactly. I'm done. You're still going to want this by method. However, I need to go ahead and events. So we're gonna say check get events. I'm gonna for each it. So we're gonna say packet.
Hey
class,
William, if you're watching the
methods,
stream.
or we'll say action.
Actually,
class.
let me message you on Discord.
The car community, but of course Zone 4 remembers you way back. Yep. And then here's how we do that. So we go ahead and set. What do I want to do? Crap. I just brain farted. Super hard right now. I wanted to go ahead and put this in this list.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So that means I need to go ahead and take the class. So I'm getting the class and the methods associated with that packet class. So that means I'm going to do an events.compute action class. And then we'll say packet class and then array. And that'll give us that. And then we'll say if array equals null, array equals new rat method 0. And then we'll make a list from the rat method. And then we'll say method list. And then we'll make that. And then we'll say arrays.as list.
Austin check Snapchat.
No, not yet. Okay.
Yo, I want Dawson Snap.
Oh, is an array.as list just interesting? So we'll just say new array list array. How to do that? Oh. Okay. Question mark.
Sorry, do you have a streak with Dawson?
Oh, maybe that's just the way Java does it. Okay. And then. Oh, right, because that technically would be a list. Anyways, continue. Interesting. Now that I have that list, we want to add all. Oh. I just realized something. Yeah, that's the array already in the map. So then we want to add the methods. So add all methods. And then return the method list to an array. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this in comments. So we're going to go ahead and say, loop through all of the methods and check that contain action annotation. Check if array is present, is already cached for packet class by packet class, or by action by class, and then check if it's already cached for class, and return array if so. If not, create new array. Adding pre-existing cached ret method into list for further additions. Adding all pre-cached ret method into global cache. Check specific ret method into global cache of the ret methods. Returning newly created array for use in detections. Got it. There we go. That way, if I ever look on this, I can easily remember. Is this now frickin'... It does grammar too. Dawson is back streaming now. Yes. For now. When I'm making checks, I will not be streaming. So, do not fear, you will not be able to skid. Or fear, depending on how you are. Okay. That
Oh my god.
I can go ahead and say, get rid of this. I don't have to in it. I can just straight up list the checks. So we don't even need this class anymore. So we could just list the checks of the player. Checks. And then we can go ahead and load all of the checks. So here we'll go Anticheat instance, get check manager, get check classes for each. We'll just do a for loop. Check, and then we'll say checks.add checks.add check that right, you need to go ahead and make that actually a getter, so we'll just put that, or actually we'll do it this way. We'll just make a method here. We'll say initiate or player in it. Or after we made the method, we'll say a player. And then we'll return a check. We'll say return check class done. New. And we should probably pass the constructor. Init constructor equals check class to get constructor a player.class, which should always be there. And then we use that to go constructor.instance player. And then that's the player class, so we say checks.add player in it, this, and we have our checks loaded. Great. And then if we want to unload the checks, we just checks clear, and all the checks are gone. Perfect. Alrighty. And then we can make that final. So now, I guess we can go ahead and, will there be a test server? No, there will not. Not a public one. Because I plan on making this private. Alright. And then we can go ahead and do it that way. So, now we need to go ahead and make our listener. So, this way, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and call packet classes. So what we need to do is we need to make a way for that to actually happen. So here we're going to go ahead and public void call event, and then we'll say, alright, it's a slight issue. I just realized a slight problem. So I'm initializing the checks by a player, and the methods are cached by packet class, not by the actual check class itself. So that makes a slight problem, because I would have to check for the check class itself. Odd. Because I'd have to invoke it by the actual check class. So we need to do a little bit more processing. And we need to actually, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and make a tuple inside player. So, fortunately, I think we'll still have to go ahead and somewhat process it. I'm trying to think of a way I can get around it by storing the methods inside of the player object itself. Because I want to be able to go ahead and reference the check object itself, but not have to store it in the A-player class alongside this. So, and not have to loop through everything to find it. So that means if I want, I need to go ahead and have some sort of reference to this rat method. And the object it needs to use to initiate it. And also a reference to a packet class. So that means I'm going to have to go ahead and probably make this a tuple. Yes. Make this a tuple. And we're actually going to say string, and then we're going to call it, and then class. And what this will do is we will go ahead and, now I need to make sure the hash of this is, we need to do a hash code to make sure that this is actually, here, so let me double check. Because we want Java to understand that these two are the exact references we want. So I would say I would say 1.hashcode plus 2 hashcode. A way to add the two together to make it equal. I guess we should do an equals check. So we'll say void equals and then we'll say I can't do that, yeah. But we'll say tuple to compare equals tuple object. And then we'll say that One delegate class that is assignable of A. Is that right?
Monkey, you're really slow at coding.
I'm slow because I'm streaming.
No, I think
matter.
you're just slow.
I'm trying to make sure there's no errors. So I do less debugging. If you're actually slow at initially coding, you'll have less errors.
You're
That's
taking too long.
I'm thinking about everything I'm doing, which is why I will have less errors when I test.
That's
You will
the
still have
wrong
errors.
way.
That's the wrong way to you. Alright, to compare two
I
codes not assignable.
subscribe to the brute force method of coding.
Yeah, but it results in less efficient code and less efficient projects as you scale up, which is why you have to think about everything. It's fine for a small botch job of a project, but you want everything to work right. You should always think about what you're writing. And then we say if it's assignable, return. And then if it's not, return false. And then we want to go ahead and check if one.hashcode equals to compare. And then actually we don't even need to do that. We can just say one.hashcode
Exactly,
equals.
Fluffy. Listen to Matt. Alright? Peter writing
Peter writing good code is testing a lot. Matt, you are wrong and you know it.
I don't think you should argue against Matt. Matt is a legend.
I guess we don't need to compare hash code. We just say 1 equals 2 compare, and 2 that equals 2 compare to 2. We should probably put 1. And then we can just return that. That way we force it to remember to compare it. The actual object here itself and not the tuple object itself, which can actually cause problems if we wanted to check if they're equal. So now that we have that, we can actually go ahead and get away with doing this, which, where was I at initially? Right, I was doing the tuple here. So that way, we know
You
it's
really
equal,
just write,
so it
take
stores
10
like that.
minutes to write an equals object thing.
I didn't take 10 minutes. I think I did.
Felt like 10 minutes.
Alright, and then, so now that I have that, I can go ahead and get away with doing this. New tuple. Check class. So check.
Why aren't you spamming .streams anymore?
Why am I what? Not anymore?
Spamming .streams.
Shut up, I became a dev. Oh, that's a slight problem. I can't get the name otherwise, so I'm gonna have to actually do an annotation for this instead of this. So, boop. Goodbye. And then we're gonna make a new annotation, and we're gonna say, check data. Okay.
You don't have a single check yet. This is depressing.
Nope, check class dot
Day 15 of making the Dawson base.
check dot.
Good thing Dawson isn't invited on the AC crowd. That there would be 5 seasons.
Christ.
And then in the check data, we're gonna want to go ahead and also. All right, now we're gonna actually have to get away with, or now we're gonna actually.
Alright, here's the plan. I'm gonna open up a competing stream. I'm gonna speedrun making a base.
And then if we do that,
Do it.
this is what happens when you make
Okay.
something for enterprise, dude. You gotta make sure your
Fucking do
code
it.
is actually thought of. This is how I
Alright, we're
do it
going
when I
to
actually
it
do
full
my
make a
mock.
prediction.
Full prediction speedrun. Alright.
Okay, I'm not saying you have to be slow, but I'm streaming, which is why I'm much slower. Because normally I think all
We'll
of this in my
stream
head.
as well.
But now I
Oh, yeah,
also
he's
have to
gotta
think
make
about.
content. He's
Now
gotta
I
make
also
content.
have to think about explaining it to you all while actually coding, and that's a lot
Think
harder
anyone
than just
cares
thinking
about
about
it?
it.
Oh, about it. Me.
So, I'm normally twice as fast. But
It's only me, you, Hydrogen, and Matt watching the stream. I'm gonna keep it on.
yeah, but people, I actually get most of my views from the VODs,
God,
so that's why I do this.
might as well just record them.
Well, this is easier. I can just stream, and then it automatically makes it into a VOD. Anyway, stop distracting me. Jared.
He's on 5 viewers. Someone else is watching.
Shot glasses.
Alright, I will be... Alright, I've got my project open. We're gonna speedrun. Let me set up
way
the
in front.
stream.
Come on, you can do it.
I'm gonna set up the stream.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and actually borrow code from Kari because I do something in here where I.
Oh my
check-
god, he's skidding.
He's skidding! Oh my
I
god.
know it's the best way for me to do it.
I thought you were better than this.
I'm reporting you to Mr. Hessler.
I am Mr. Hessler.
The other Mr. Hessler.
Right, there we go.
Gotta log into Twitch.
You're gonna do it on Twitch?
Yeah.
You're sad.
This is
Come
just
on,
what I
that's
have
great.
it set up
Thank
for.
you.
Pathetic. Do it on YouTube.
I'm lazy. YouTube's
Use that
more
multi-stream
complicated.
platform where you can stream to like one service and it streams it.
Yeah, but I'm lazy to set it up. This is just like a joke stream. We
It's on
value your
YouTube. That's where
privacy.
you
Shut
put all the
up.
jokes.
That is kind of true.
Plus, you can get away with a lot more on YouTube.
That's true. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'll set up YouTube.
What you just said there would get you like a 50-day suspension on Twitch.
Connect account.
You can't
No
get
cap,
away with.
no cap.
Actually, it's a big bag. With copyright, you can get away with a lot more on Twitch because they don't have a. They don't.
I've seen some people say some questionable shit on YouTube Live. Okay.
Oh, I know, but the thing is that one, it'll actually automatic. See, YouTube actually does it in a way where Twitch is very heavy-handed with it. YouTube algorithmically puts you in a lower place if you do inappropriate stuff.
Why
So
do I
they-
have a community guideline strike?
They soft modify
Oh.
it. Well, if you go to an
Oh, I remember.
obviously, if you go to an extreme thing, you probably get a community guideline strike, which I never actually got.
Like, so
Oh, I
I just
got
got
a
my
community
channel taken
guideline
down.
strike for a specific video.
I got my channel taken down because
You haven't got a community guidelines strike?
There was some questionable content in the video in question.
oh, questionable content in the video in question.
Let's go live.
Undo this, and then just get
alright.
classes.
Speed running and Anticheat face. It'd be awesome.
Well, just because you speak doesn't mean
Visibility
it's actually good.
public. I will load it on a test server.
Your current anti-cheat doesn't even work properly. They were just testing it yesterday.
I fixed it.
Uh-huh.
Fuck
Sure, let me
you.
test it again, bitch.
Fuck you.
So
It's
you
not
know
as bad
what?
as
You want to
Demons,
pull
okay?
that crap? I got fire to fire back.
Could be
Okay,
worse. It
hold
could
on.
be Demon
I
PP.
think I
and
can. I think I can start streaming. What do you mean set up a broad? Fuck you. Okay, my broadcast is gonna be
do a live event. It has to be a live event, bro.
category gaming. Hell yeah.
Gave me. All I'm mentally unwell.
Create broadcast and start streaming. This is a lot more complicated than Twitch.
It's made by Susan, of course it is.
Alright, Sailors has DM'd me. Am I actually going to make a base on stream? Yes.
Oh my god, he's French.
Oh my god. It's crazy.
Imagine being French.
Must suck. Live. Hello? Is this here? It's the stream exists. Okay. Alright, the stream is live.
Oh, I love the Cloudflare hat issue. My website handles more traffic thanks to Cloudflare tweet option.
Rolled a major time.
Bring up the stream.
Gonna
I
go-
gotta make sure I like don't leak anything. That would be not ideal.
Okay.
And Brazil's making a lot of requests.
Sailors has issued me a challenge to do it under 2 hours. I will destroy him.
For every 30 seconds you miss, you're going to donate $10 to my bank account. Thanks.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Fine, to Dawson's.
Alhamdulillah.
No.
Yeah, donate to my stream.
Okay. The stream is up.
Oh, actually, crap! Don't donate to my stream. I don't have it set up yet.
I will donate now.
I mean, you can donate, but it just won't show up on stream. Which actually, I feel
Alright.
bad because someone might have donated. Because I'm on Linux.
We're
and it's not
going
set up
to
in this
begin.
profile. So let me go on to Streamlabs and actually set it up real quick.
He's getting distracted. He's doing other stuff.
No, I just realized that I should probably do that before I say you should donate. Because the whole point of donating is for me to hear a little bring.
Motherfuck. I gotta do the thing. I gotta.
I forget. I think it's something web. It may be window capture. No, it's not. It's gotta be. What do you freaking do?
I'm using the funky repo.
Launch it.
How do you
use-
feel?
God, you're on Windows 11. Shoot yourself.
It's a new computer. I could get Windows 10.
You can.
I'll mod you in the stream.
What source do they use?
Oh, you'll mod me?
Yeah, I'll mod you.
Okay.
Well,
then
I know
we
a fucking
use
channel, so
CC. Okay, what do they press?
I deleted my channel. So
Nice.
No.
Yeah.
Did you delete all the
Browser
videos?
source.
no. Let me
Does-
create one real quick.
Why is there no browser source on Linux?
What? What are you trying to do?
On OBS for implementing Streamlabs, why is there no browser source? What's it called? Is it called window capture? No, it's not.
I think you have to install the plugin for it.
Really? What plugin is it?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't really use
OBS
OBS.
browser capture on. What do you use on Linux?
I use OBS, but I don't stream. You know.
Close as the cam girl.
Streamlabs. What the fuck? Streamlabs alerts OBX Linux.
I'm basically just gonna be slowly pasting my
Oh,
own
I have to download the
base.
Linux browser plugin.
Okay, I've got my channel back.
Okay.
That was
so If I
fast.
go in terminal,
Mod me.
and
I just use the
Ah.
snap of OBS because it
The-
comes with a bunch of plugins already.
Put user in timeout.
Yeah, but I can't do that right now. I'm midstream.
Wow. I think I have
Okay.
mod in Dawson's.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
Let
was
me
just
search
using it
that
one
in
day.
APT.
I just time out people I don't like.
Oh,
and
I guess we're not doing it this stream. I'll just install the snap next time.
Or do you have to?
Synchronize. Are you
Install the
multi-threading your
plugin.
events? Yes. These are likely. Yeah, this is basically going to be done by. Well,
Begin.
hold on. Synchronizing here.
Yeah,
Yeah, this could be called by anything. Oh, I guess maybe not. Whatever. It
Code
doesn't hurt.
dump segmentation
Oh, yeah.
fault.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, this would cause problems because players can be added on a different thread and the checks are going to be added. But, no, this check manager may only be added once.
And
Does it
return for like
matter?
30 seconds and I join. Easy
Eh.
fix.
It can cause a
I-
current CME if the server's starting at the same time a player joins. That could be a problem. So it's niche, but it doesn't affect anything if I just synchronize it once.
Epic fat bypass.
I hope your server thread
Let
locks.
me proper the let me follow proper concurrency
Smartest
programming
reaching check.
guidelines. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Smartest anti-ing bot.
Annotation present, check data. No, if it's present, they want to go ahead. Oh, oops. Totally didn't do that. I'm gonna have to change that URL source now.
Dawson, you said I don't have a fucking name for your anti-cheat.
Cool.
Call it Africa Anticheat.
I'm saying
I'm gonna have to delete
Kari
this.
Gold.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a genius. I had audio muted
Harry Gold.
on my
Harry
stream.
Gold.
Whatever. No one be mean.
It's-
I'm gonna have to delete it after the stream ends, though. Alright, we're
Okay,
gonna copy something else
stream,
I don't
can
post
you
it
hear me?
accidentally.
I don't know. Why
That
do you
would
use
actually,
VirtualBox?
That'd be good to know.
That never happened. No one ever saw that.
What did you leak now?
Nothing. I definitely
Hold
didn't
on, I can't
link
hear
my
the
Streamlabs widget box
chat.
link.
Oh well.
So, oops. Anyways, check
Okay.
my sanitation. What was I doing
Go
here?
to donate.
I could have sworn I was doing. Oh right, I wanted to get the check name.
I
Make
donate
sure
as
to
Mr.
super
Beast.
chat.
Paul Dawson, a big black monkey boy.
Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the annotation itself. Check data equals. There we go. And then that way I can go ahead and do this.
Spotlight, the moonlight.
I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste the threading shit.
Threadlock. Code dump segmentation faults.
And then that way I can do it by check name and action class. So then what that'll do is when I'm running this and a player, I want to run call event. I'm looping through it. Oh, well, I'm looping through the checks, and then I check the name, and then I check the method. Yeah, okay, see, yeah, I'm not wrong. I'm doing it right, I think. We'll find out. We'll find out if it works. So we'll go ahead and check that for each. And we'll say check. Cheat instance, get check manager. Get events, get new tuple, bring class. And this is just to keep the obviously I don't need to do that, but I'm just being very I forget what the term is, but exact with what I want to type, because JavaScript is a loose language and Java is a strict type. Yeah, I'm strictly typing this to make sure that there's no way the JVM can be confused.
Go back.
That's the term I wanted to use. Alright, so we're gonna say check dot crap. We're gonna probably want to go ahead and just make this method.
Let's go. I have 3 stream viewers.
There we go.
No way?
Incredible.
Everybody leave.
Wow. Okay, closest. Fuck you.
Yeah, we can move that. And then everyone's happy. I guess we'll make this public. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright, so make that private. It's for convention, please. Okay, there we go. And I will say check. Get check data name, and then the class itself.
Fuck, did I do this?
There we go.
600
Class.
posts about people complaining about NVIDIA and Wayland support. Ah, beautiful.
That gives us an array. methods. If methods doesn't equal null,
Restarting.
we do methods for each method that invoke event. Okay. So if I want to go ahead and call the event, I say, hey player, wait, it generates play, so it gets that. So you don't need to call it twice. So we say, player,
How to destroy Dawson.
call event, join event. Now, that runs on a init. So then now we can go ahead and say, join check. We extend that as check. Create the constructor matching super. We do check data, and then we say name equals join, and type equals check type dot, let's just say order. And then when we make our event, we go action public void on join player join event. Or we'll just broadcast it. Bucket.broadcast message.
Who is in front? Is Hydrogen
Player
done?
joined server.
Hashtag
Player,
speedrun.
and we'll say get player.
AC speedrun, AC speedrun.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
Speedrun to.
This is
No, okay,
slightly
wait.
annoying.
Like, making it better care. Who's gonna memory leak first?
Oh god.
Hydrogen or
Dawson.
you're very
Probably
funny.
Dawson.
I'm actually thinking about the code I'm writing.
No way.
Yeah, that's where you've gone wrong. This will be the most cheapskate anti-cheat base ever constructed.
We'll probably be able to disable
Use
hydrogens
protocol
with a
up,
large URL, but
Use protocol lib.
Uses protocol.
What? It's optimized. It's very fast. Don't worry.
Yes, very true.
Honestly, I just realized the way I did this in Cairo was also much faster. So I'm gonna really quickly go to my data manager and copy the classes I did this way.
Yo, he's getting.
Well, I just don't want to go through the hassle that I did before because it took me a bit. And then we just synchronize it on creation, I guess. So we do it by hash code. And this is the much better way because this map indexes by the integer itself, which is actually a much faster way of doing it. So
I'm gonna be making. This is gonna be the best check ever. Like, I'm sorry to leak this on stream, but I don't think you guys are prepared for this shit.
okay. And then that way when it generates it's like that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that's synchronized when putting it in. Yeah, it's synchronized. Okay, there we go. Player join server player. And then honestly we're gonna refactor this to bucket player. And then the bucket player .kit name. And then we'll see if that works. Let's hope for the best. Oh. How did I get the current tick?
Simply ask it.
No, an Atlas.
What?
Have to use reflection
I
every
guess
tick.
it's
That's the
right.
funky monkey way.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
bad
I'm not doing that right now. Hush. Okay.
right now.
He's learned from his mistakes.
Just fuck off.
What is Shen Yu?
The nutsack 8 check is gonna
Okay.
is really gonna come in clutch.
I should fix that. And I should probably open up chat again. Yeah, it's all good.
Compiling shaders.
Alright, let's open up Minecraft. And if this works, this is where I'm gonna end the stream.
Oh no. Oh god, oh god, oh god, I have to go fast.
Come on, Hydrogen, come on.
Fuck. Shit. Been using old IntelliJ UI. Shut up.
Windows
Oh
11
god.
user.
Oh god.
Okay, perfect. We have our first error.
Yes! Okay, I just got bought some time.
So,
alright.
join
This is
the
taking too long to
22nd.
not pretend to copy paste.
So, let's see.
Alright. This is looking
Event
good. This is looking
exception.
good.
Okay, so apparently player is null, so when we're generating, it returns null. Why? Oh, I know why.
Fuck, he knows why. Shit. Oh.
Let's try that again.
Wilson uses Rocky Linux.
Okay.
Wilson uses Parrot OS.
Yes, he's modifying the kernel.
Yeah, that's why he's getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is good. Alright.
And then we're gonna open up another Minecraft and alt. Can I not do that on Linux? Can I not open multiple Minecrafts?
Yes, you can. What?
It's not letting me open a new window. Maybe if I go into applications.
No, that's no. What you have to do is click keep window open or whatever when you run Minecraft, like the launcher.
Oh, new window.
Yeah. No, like in the Minecraft launcher,
Oh.
like there's an option that just says like it just says keep Minecraft launcher open.
Oh, and
when
that
you're
way I
playing
can open a new one.
Yeah, because you know everybody loves to support Linux properly. Yeah.
I've got Windows on my side. This is how I win this.
No way.
Alright, there we go. And then... Alright, time to add a new account.
You know what? I'll keep the memory leak in. I'll just
Well,
going to
first,
add.
I guess we might as well just test to see if the event works
I just
at all
want to add
before
a
we
stop
test if
method.
It has other issues.
Theoretically, this should work now.
Alright, so
Oh
that
yeah,
didn't
to
work
register
yet.
the listener.
So
Yes, it's
basically,
good.
what
It's
we have
good.
to do
He's
is we need to
clueless.
see if it's actually executing properly. So let's find
The
in the
fuck
stack
you
where
register a listener in Artemis Packet API.
where it's not working. So when we call the event, here it has to go ahead and grab it by the check name and the check class. But first we want to make sure that we're even registering the check itself. So I guess.
Okay, we're gonna
here-
compile.
Or actually, hold on. When I add the check, I don't even check if it's adding. Grab.
Alright, we're gonna be compiling. Build
So,
success.
Add check. Or
Upload this to the server.
a log verbose true. Adding.
Alright, restart. Oh shit, I gotta launch Minecraft.
Check data that gets not name. Right now it's reloaded. Let's see. So it didn't actually register the check, which is good to know. I added the check data annotation, so that can't be the issue. Oh, wait, I get check class. Is annotation present? Yes. So when I add the check, it's adding that class itself. Oh, well, I know the problem. It's because they see that check doesn't. Yeah, I was using the wrong path. So then let's try that again. Alright, they added it this time. So then let's go ahead and join. It doesn't actually say player joined the server. So now we need to go ahead and check where it's executing. So we have join event, extends player event, which extends event. So that means we need to go ahead and figure out why it's not calling it. Now that we're at that issue. So call event. I want to go ahead and see what's being registered. So let's go ahead and see. So I need to figure out what I did because it's kind of verbose and slightly confusing. So it's calling the checks here and then it's getting the events there. So when we're registering stuff here, registering packet class. And we're actually going to edit the tuple class to go ahead and there we go. Then that way we have that done. It'll print both of them out. In a bit. No, almost done with this. It's not fucking around. Oh, anti-cheat. Alright, load that. Okay. So adding check to check manager join. And then doesn't actually register. Odd. So that means this actually isn't registering properly. Odd. Wait, isn't present. Maybe it's not the clear back then? Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here.